talking about a second way. It's a second strategy to save big bucks on sale.
Yeah, so the strategy that we find really interesting, that's really flexible for a lot of entrepreneurs, is because a lot of entrepreneurs want to be entrepreneurial again. You want to build a strategy with an installment sale with a trust that allows you to do just what you want to do, which is either be retired and passive or be active and an entrepreneur, or a little bit of both, right? I think one of the beauties of the new type of retirement mindset is not so much stopping working altogether. It's more, can I control the pace and the rhythm of my work, right? That does keep me going, right? For a number of reasons, because I enjoy it, but it's not running my entire, 60s and 70s and 80s, like not, and if I still enjoy it, it's meaningful and it's purposeful, I want to keep going, and to the extent that I can do that. Well, the beauty of a trust with an installment sale, the way that we set it up, is you can do both. You can partner with your grandkids or your kids. You can do your next business opportunity, kind of like a self-directed IRA, all while deferring the tax, and or you can be passive or 50-50. And so I'll give you an example. We did an exit for a client, and it's in San Diego. It was a $13 million exit. They had built a car wash business, and their basis is about $4 million. We sold, deferred the tax in installment sales, and they've been diversifying for the last couple of years while the real estate market has shifted. And they've been basically passive. They put a little bit in Bitcoin, a little bit in some stock, a little bit in some real estate debt positions, some discounted hotel deals that they found, all passive. But eventually they're moving to the active side of things, where they're going to partner with the trust and do their entrepreneurial journey. And that's the key. Like entrepreneurs and business owners like ourselves, Craig, we want to be able to time investments and time business ventures rather than being put in a box. And that's part of why we like the way that we, installment sales with trust that we can set up, we call them deferred sales trust, that you can set up on stock sales, business sales, real estate sales, including primary homes, and super flexible for how you can invest and the timing of doing it all.
So in the deferred sales, how do you make sure that you get your money? And there's a little story behind that. My dad sold his business to his partner, and his partner revalued the business after the transaction was done, and my dad didn't get all that was promised. And how do you structure that so you don't get screwed?
Great question. So we have two ways that we structure that to keep upside for clients. Number one, only sell a part of the business. So like there's a lot of 60-40 deals where they sell 60% and then keep the other 40% and they roll it over into the new co, right? So they actually maintain ownership of the new asset that is, or the new business or part of the business. And so that by technicality, they already have that. The other side of what we do is we make sure, because it can also go the other way too. Like let's say you potentially, I'm not saying if your dad did this or not, but carried paper for the other buyer. So the guy goes, hey, I want to buy you out. It's a $10 million company. I want to buy you out 50%, but you loan me the money. So we buy you for $5 million, but you owe me the money, and the valuation of the company goes to $20 million. And so in that scenario, it was a debt position versus equity. And so in one sense, your dad was safer. I'm not saying this is how he set it up, and I'm just kind of playing this out of what it could have been. He is safer because even if the property value or the business went down, they still owe the $5 million. But the flip side of that is your dad may be having to foreclose on the business and take it back, which is the worst case scenario. And so in traditional installment sales, if you're not diversified and your collateral is secured against the asset, the challenge is you may have to take it back, or perhaps the asset value goes higher and you're like, oh gosh, I wish I would have stayed in. So you're stuck between kind of a rock and a hard place. In other words, you're not controlling kind of your destiny. So the neat part of the strategy that we do with the deferred sales trust is that you can be detached from that property or that business, and then you can control your destiny for the next venture. Or you can go into like NVIDIA stock, like one of my clients did a couple of years ago after he sold his large business, and the stock went through the roof. And so in that scenario, it worked out. So I would say that diversification is really important. I'd say liquidity is really important. And if you want to maintain additional upside, make sure you maintain actual ownership, and you're not just becoming a lender for your partner, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.